Hey everyone, my name is Lourence, and I'm going to report Chapter 9 Market Failures and Government Intervention. These are the coverage of my topic are market failure, how does market failure happen, types of market failure, principal agent problem, information failure, externalities, and the last is costs and benefits. Learning objectives. After reading and studying this chapter, you should be able to discuss the characteristic of market failures and give a scenario to illustrate the conditions. Second one is explain the reasons for government intervention in market failure. Market failure. Market failures occur when goods and services by a market become efficient or no longer bring in economic efficiency. Market failure since market may not always allocate scarce resources in the most efficient manner to provide maximum social welfare. Because of market failures, government interventions are needed to intervene in particular markets. The next one is how does market failure happen? Several reasons may attribute as to why market forces may not lead to economic efficiency, resulting to make failures. Most often, they occurs because of the efficient allocation of goods and services. So, when market failure happens, we must recognize the reason behind it. For example, when price mechanism fails to account for the costs and benefits and the consumption of a certain good, the market will not be able to produce the needed supply of the particular good to be optimal. This makes the particular good to be over or underproduced. Types of market failure. Principal agent problem. Information failure, imperfect information, and asymmetric information. When market are perfect, an ideal computation mode in the market is expected. Assumptions include presence of any buyers and sellers such that collusions become unnecessary, easy market to enter and exit, full price information and product quality. Principal agent problem. The principal agent problem arises when the interests of company owners, the principal, are not aligned with of its managers, the agents who make decisions on their behalf. This can lead to conflicts of interest as the manager may prioritize their own goals over the objectives of the company's owner. However, the principal cannot be really assured of the agent's performance that the principal would like or really require because another person, the agent, is doing it for him or her. The decision and the performance of the agent are quite difficult to monitor. The incentives of the agent may differ from those of the principal. An example of this problem may be seen in financial advisor and manager managing the funds in behalf of investors. The next one is information failure. There are two types of information failure, the imperfect information and asymmetric information. Imperfect information, the term imperfect information simply means that the buyers and the or sellers do not have all the information necessary to make an informed decisions. Asymmetric information is the condition where one party, the other, the buyer or the seller, has more information about the product quality or price than the other party. Information failure occurs when the consumers and producers are not fully aware of the costs and benefits of their decisions. This makes their decisions to be based on incomplete or imperfect information. Asymmetric information. Asymmetric information is a term that refers to when one party in a transaction is facilities. Asymmetric information happen this way. The other side of the party does not know what information the other party may be hiding or keeping. Thus, The information is not parallel, which makes the information asymmetric. Classic example is the market for used cars where the possibility of buying and selling of the lemon defective car becomes probable. The next one is externalities. Externalities are spillover effects from the production and consumption of the goods and services without properly compensating those affected by the outcome. Externalities lead to the market failure because a product or service price equilibrium does not accurately reflect the true costs and benefits of that product or services. There are two types of externalities, the negative externalities and the positive externalities. The first one is negative externalities arise when one party, such as business, makes another party worse off, yet not the cost from doing so. Externalities, which either positive or negative affecting parties, are the form of market failure resulting in efficient market outcomes. Common example of a negative externalities is pollution. A factory producing steel products spew pollutants into the air as part of the production process. The next one is the positive externalities. Positive externalities arise when one party, such as business, makes another party better off but does not receive any compensation for doing so. Positive externalities happens where transactions make use of common resources that are being shared with others who are not actually involved with the actual exchange, yet incur benefits in a positive or good way. The last but not the least, costs and benefits. Private costs and private benefits. When costs and benefits affect private individuals, this means the costs are solely burdened by the individuals and the benefits only occur to him or her. External costs and external benefits. In the case of external costs, private costs are less than social costs. Similarity, external benefits are created when an action by a person or firm benefits other outside of any market exchange. The social benefit of an activity equals the private benefit revealed in the market plus external benefits. Next is marginal benefits and marginal. Marginal benefit is the maximum amount of money a consumer is willing to pay for an additional good or services. The consumer satisfaction tends to decrease as consumption increase. Marginal cost is the change in cost when an additional unit of a good or services is produced.
So, good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. So, I'm the second reporter. So, we'll talk about the effect of negative externality and the rest. So, when a good has a negative externality, the cost to society is greater than the cost a consumer is paying for it. So, consumer decision is ultimately based on his marginal cost being equal to his marginal benefit. When there is negative externality, consumers do not account for the cost of these externalities, therefore leading to market inefficiencies. So next one we will talk about the deadweight loss. If something prevents the market from reaching the equilibrium outcome, such as there is a form of externality, total welfare drops. This decline is called the deadweight loss. Deadweight loss represents the value of transactions that could have been made but are not actually made. Deadweight loss come from price controls, monopoly, and externalities. Then, in order to prevent that externalities, so there is a called a corrective negative externality. So one way to correct for the problem of negative externality is through taxation. Taxing the producer the amount of negative externality will increase the marginal cost of the producer, which can make them reduce their output. Tax lowers the value of transactions to buyers and sellers. So that is correcting negative externality. So now we will talk about the positive externalities. Positive externalities are simply the benefits. If kaina is negative, so karon positive. Instead of harm derived by third parties who are not directly involved in economic transactions, third parties include individuals and organizations that are indirectly affected by the economic transactions. Where positive externalities exist, the good or service may be underconsumed or underprovided. Since the free market may fail to value them correctly or taking them into account when pricing the product. If there are external benefits, the market delivers an output below the quantity that maximizes social welfare. So, merit goods and positive externalities. So, we'll focus on the merit goods. So, what are merit goods? So, these are goods and services which the government can subsidize or provide for free, such that its consumption will not basically demand or hinge on the consumer's ability to pay for the good and service. These goods are produced out or merit or need. So this merit goods is a need for every people. Kumbaga, specific. Examples, we have examples, education, healthcare, welfare services, and housing. So every people need these goods. So this is what they call merit or the needs. So public goods, this is what last we're talking about. Public goods are goods that can be consumed by everybody in a society or nobody at all. So kaina is merit goods specific, so public goods from the word public, so generalized. They cannot or will not be produced for individual profit since they are generally, so as what I have said, generally argued to be given out free of charge as there is no marginal cost in producing a public good. Examples of public goods are police protection, diba? Since police protection is a need for everyone, not for a specific person. National defense, street lamps, and public parts. So, that's all in my report. Thank you, ma'am, and good day.
Good morning, ma'am. Good morning, classmates. I'm your third reporter. Non-excludable and non-public goods. Non-excludable means individuals who do not play cannot be excluded from the benefits, the goods or services. Non-excludable, it is also costly or possible for one user to exclude others from using a good. It is also our public goods that cannot exclude a certain individuals or group of individuals from using them. Example of non-excludable is a public good or public road. Non-rival public goods. Non-rival happens when one individual's consumption of a good does not affect another person's opportunity to consume the goods. Non-rival, it is also means that consumption of a good by one person does not reduce the amount available for others. Example of non-viral is clear air, street lights, and public safety. Encouraging positive externalities. Through intervention of the government, positive externalities can be addressed. Positive externality exists when a benefit spill over to a third party. Government can discourage negative externalities by taxing goods and services that generate spillover costs. Increasing supply. When government gives grants and subsidies to producers of goods and services, the cost of production are reduced. This in turn will encourage more supply, spilling over the effect in encouraging the supply of merit goods such as education and housing. Increasing demand. When government subsidies tuition fees in college and universities, the price paid to obtain schooling will be reduced. Increasing demand happen when more purchase at the same time, same price. The economic of vaccination. Positive externality in action. What goods in a vaccination? Obviously, There are benefits for the person receiving the vaccine. They are less susceptible to the disease, most importantly in the children that needs to be supervised in terms of their health. Government intervention and market failures. A small problem of externalities may be resolved through negotiations when both parties are affected. Large externality problems can no longer be addressed by such as the issue of free riders go beyond negotiation and legal action. Market failures can be caused by a lack of information, market control, public goods, and externalities. Market failure can be corrected through government intervention, such as new laws or taxes, tariffs, and etc.